welcome to another episode of Insufficient Friends. I'm Kevin, she is Stevie.
Hi.
And Steve, it's Father's Day. Happy
Yay!
Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, everyone.
Especially our dads.
Yeah.
And speaking of our dads, we're doing an extra special episode this week.
Woohoo!
We're going to talk to both of our dads and ask them a few questions. And for your dad, it's the second time on here.
Yep.
For mine, it's the first, and he's kind of
a little nervous,
Yeah,
but it'll be fun.
we'll see how this goes. I think it'll be fine. I think he's more nervous than he needs to be, but
Bring on the dads.
yeah. Okay. So we recorded these, so we'll kind of play them for you guys, and we'll talk to you about it afterwards.
Hello.
Hello.
Ivan.
Hello.
How's it going? Happy Father's Day.
Thanks.
How's your day going?
It's going well. How's your day going?
It's so good.
Good.
It's better now.
Well, I don't know that I agree with that, but okay,
Oh
we'll
my
go
gosh,
with that.
you guys sound the same.
I noticed that now.
You
Like
guys have,
hearing my normal voice in the
Yeah.
headphones sounds different, and
Yeah.
I can tell. It's kind of weird.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Okay, so how's it going? By the way, are you doing okay? How long have you been nervous about this? How nervous are you about this?
I've only been nervous about 2 weeks since you told me that we was going to do this.
Okay, how bad is it? Like on a scale of 1 to 10?
8.
8?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I want you to know that it's an intimate crowd. This isn't going anywhere crazy. Not many people will hear this.
No, but his brother, my uncle, will, and he's excited, I think, to hear this.
Yes, Doug will listen to this. My wife will listen to this.
Well, good.
My son will listen to this because they listen to it every week. So,
Aw.
yes, I will be told how good or how bad I do.
Well, we open ourselves to criticism every week by having this podcast, so join the club.
You guys do a really good job.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
We try. We barely succeed, but we're here. Okay, so let's start off. I sent you the questions to this since you wanted to be prepared because you were nervous. But
Yes.
we'll start off with the first one. It's what did you think when you first learned that we were doing this? Because I don't think I told you about this until it actually came out.
You didn't. And I mean, I guess I was probably, I don't know if shocked is the right word. I never thought about it really, but I mean, it's cool. I mean, I think it's a cool thing. I had a hard time watching or listening to the first one. It took me about 5 or 6 different times to listen to it, hearing your voice through the radio because that was really weird to me.
So I'm just curious, had you listened to many podcasts before this?
Very little,
Okay.
like 2 or 3 different ones is all, and not very often on those.
Okay, interesting. Because I know, like, our friend Nikki, when she came on, she was like, my mom doesn't even, like, know what a podcast is. So it's
Yeah, I had to walk
interesting.
him through the steps on how
Yeah,
to find
okay,
it,
okay.
sure.
I mean, I have a couple podcasts downloaded or whatever you want to call it on my phone that I have listened to, but as far as listening to them on a regular basis, no, I've never listened to a podcast except for you guys on a regular basis now.
We're so special.
You are.
Okay. Steve, do you wanna?
Yeah. All right. What's our next question we got for the dads? So, like, listening to the podcast and just kind of hearing stuff that we talk about, have we said, or Kevin specifically said anything that you were kind of like surprised by?
The only thing that ever surprised me was whenever you guys did that one where you kind of picked on each other.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I heard you weren't the biggest fan of that segment.
I wasn't because I was afraid where that could lead to.
Sure.
As far as, I know situations like that sometimes go down the wrong path.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean I can understand that. We've always talked even at work, so I understand the concept behind that. Like,
Yeah.
I understand the reasoning behind that, but also we've
Yeah, if people don't know
Yeah.
our like
We've made
friendship
fun of
that
each other
well,
for a long time, so
exactly.
it's not a...
It's all in good fun. We've built up that thick skin for it.
And that's good that you have. I
Yeah.
mean, that's good that you have. It just that kind of concerned me when I heard that.
You're like, well, this is gonna be the last episode of Insufficient Friends.
Well, I that ran through my head, yes.
Was there anything else that surprised you or you thought was funny or that stands out to you over the... I guess we've been doing
Oh,
this for
you've
a
had
few
some
months.
funny stuff on there. I mean, you two disagree on a lot of things, and that there's been some funny stuff on there like that. I don't know that anything's really stood out, that's made me really think, oh my gosh. But I mean, there's been a couple things on there. You two disagree on a lot of different things, and that makes it, entertaining once in a
Sure.
while. I mean, I've laughed at several things you guys have said through the podcast.
Good. Like it.
So if you were to do a podcast, what would
Mhm.
it be about?
If I was to do a podcast, it would probably be sports and politics.
Okay. Why?
Because something changes every hour in both of those. So you would never have something not to talk about. There would always be change every week, every day, every hour.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's a really good point. I
Yeah.
never even thought about that.
Steve doesn't like sports, so that's kind of hard
I don't
for
really
us.
like either of those things.
She
I've
doesn't like
caught
either
that,
of those
yes.
things, which makes it kind of hard for us to do those. But yeah, Steve isn't into either one of those things. But
But I never thought of that point of view. Of those are those things are ever changing, both of them.
constantly.
Even if you're leaving opinions out of it, just the facts, it's still
Yeah.
changing. Just statistics, new news all the time
Yeah.
about both. So that I mean,
Right.
that could be you wouldn't run out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's kind of the thought that I had behind it. If that's what we was going to do on the podcast.
Yeah. Well, okay. That's cool. I like that.
So I think I know the answer to this, but who would you choose to do that with? Who would you?
My
Had
brother
to.
Doug.
Yeah.
Aw, Doug would be your insufficient friend.
Doug would be my insufficient friend. We talk all the time, and that's what we talk about all the time. We're both lucky enough to be able to talk during the day when we both work. We talk every day, and that's what we talk about.
That's sweet.
We may have to get Doug on here sometime.
Yeah, we'll
I
see.
think
Well,
we
I'm
need
sure
to.
he'll give feedback on this. So
Oh, I'm sure I'll get a text. I'm sure he'll talk to it with my dad about it later too.
So, all right, we got the podcast questions out of the way. Do you have like a specific Father's Day memory that comes to mind, Ivan?
The only one that I can really remember, and Kevin has a picture of it,
We'll post it
is
online.
Oh, good.
for some reason Kevin was probably, I'm going to guess, probably 10 years old, and we was playing croquet in my parents' front yard. And for some reason, I'm holding my hand up in the air, looking at the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And why, I don't know. I get made fun of by everybody that sees that picture. But that's really the main Father's Day. When somebody says Father's Day, that's the first thing that pops into my mind is that picture.
Oh, that's so
And
funny. I'm
that's,
looking
I
at
mean,
it.
like I say, that's probably, 25, close to 25 years ago.
Gotcha. Yeah, we'll have to share that on our socials so you guys can.
Yeah, we'll put
know what we're
a
talking
put a
about.
couple pictures probably up from both of our dads since
Yeah.
we're talking about them and talking with them this week. Okay,
Well, cool.
so
I like
don't.
that.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I don't know of any like specific Father's Day. Like I don't remember anything specifically Father's Day.
Yeah.
So
I don't remember anything that we really did that
No, like traditions.
stands out. I mean, we went to lunch or went to dinner, had cake,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. But I don't really think we really did anything to really celebrate.
Sure. Okay. Do you golf, Ivan?
Do I golf?
Yeah.
I used to all the time.
You
I
guys
don't
ever
much
do that?
anymore.
I mean, not in. He doesn't
Not
really
of
anymore.
late.
We used to, yeah,
Used to do
when
that
I
a
was
lot.
younger.
Yeah, we used to golf all the time.
That was something my dad and I, like, even before I golfed as a kid, I just have so many memories of riding in the cart with him and getting snacks at the clubhouse. So I feel like that was definitely a few Father's Days, like,
Yeah.
in a row. That's what we did.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun golfing.
Yeah.
We golfed a lot, and I think we had a few Father's Day golf tournaments at the golf course where we golfed and stuff like that.
For sure.
I always used to make fun of him because we lived on when I was in high school. We lived at a golf course, and we were members of a golf course.
Mm-hmm.
But I always wanted to play a different course, and he would always say, "Well, we play for this one, so why would we go play anywhere else?" But every time I'm gone, he goes and plays some. Oh, I went and played here. Oh, I went and played here. Oh, I went and played here. Well, why? What the hell, man?
Well, if
Leaving
you're
you out.
paying for a golf course and you're a member, you don't want to go pay for another golf course when you got to pay for that one anyway.
That is a very dad thing to say, but it's very understandable.
Yeah. So, yeah. Do you have any other questions? I talked to your dad about you. Do you have any questions for my dad about me? Anything that you're interested in?
Oh gosh, unlike Ivan, I did not prepare very well, but I am curious. My dad kind of talked about just like maybe some habits I had as a kid, maybe how I was like in school. How was Kevin in school? What was that like?
Kevin was great. Kevin was probably his hardest critic. I mean, if
Aw.
Kevin didn't get an A, Kevin was mad. I didn't have to say nothing to Kevin. Kevin was a great student. He wanted A's all the way through, and that was his goal. Kevin was a great kid. He really was. I have nothing bad to say about Kevin as far as school goes. He tried hard and he did good, and I'm very proud of him for it. I mean, he was
Aw.
an excellent student.
I do remember though when I was when I was little and in
Oh.
kindergarten, I believe. If
Mhm.
anybody can be surprised by this, since I'm on a podcast now, I got in trouble for talking too much on a regular
He
basis.
did get in trouble for talking too much one time, and we got that taken care of. And, he never did it again after that. The one thing that always stands out to me about Kevin in school was he was probably in the third or fourth grade, and Kevin may be able to tell you what grade he was in, but two kids jumped him on the playground. And Kevin is a recommended black belt in Taekwondo, and he flattened both of those kids.
Oh my
And
gosh.
he did not get in trouble. The teacher called me and they said, hey, your son flattened two kids at school. And I said, and not even thinking, I said, are those kids okay? And the teacher laughed and she said, yes, they're okay. And I said, and she goes, Kevin's fine too. And I said, well, I wasn't worried about Kevin, and but Kevin did not get in trouble because luckily the teacher seen those two kids try to do something, try to attack him because, of whatever reason. But that's the one memory that stands out with Kevin in school to me that I will never forget.
Oh my gosh, Kev, I had no idea. I don't think I knew you did Taekwondo.
Yeah, I did Taekwondo for 7 or 8 years.
When you say
Oh my gosh,
flatten,
at least that long. He's a recommended black belt.
I'm one level below a black belt. Yes.
Okay. And when you say
Yes.
flatten somebody, you just mean like they were on the ground, like they were down,
I
or
don't remember this happening.
really?
So I don't know if I blocked it out or what, but I don't remember this happening. I didn't actually realize that this even happened until like maybe a year ago when he told me this story, because I don't remember this.
Huh.
They jumped him from behind and he flattened them both and walked off.
How
And that's what you're
fascinating.
supposed to do when you're trained in martial arts.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I really had no idea. I'm surprised that has never been brought up before
Yeah.
with all the talking we do. Okay, one more question.
Yep.
Do you think Kev works too much?
I'm very proud of Kevin for how hard he works. I did that when I was his age. I was starting a business and I worked 90 hours a week just like Kevin does. I worry about him working as much as he does, but at the same time, I'm proud of him. I wish he had a job where he worked, 40, 50 hours a week instead of 90 hours a week. So yes, I'm proud of him for what he does. I hope he can retire young, but I know how hard that is on you at that age because I did it.
Yeah. Wow, that's a good answer. I agree. It's like cool. It's very admirable. I've always thought that, but it's definitely like eventually it would take a toll. I think that you
It
do it well,
it
but
does it does take a toll on you, and I just hope that it pays off for him in the future.
for sure. Me too. Me too.
Me too.
All right.
Anything else, Steve?
No.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Well, Dad, thanks for coming on, and
Yep.
it was fun, and
Yep,
happy
it
Father's
was.
Day.
Happy Father's Day.
How do you feel it went? Like, are you still nervous? Do you feel better now that it's over?
No, it went way better than I thought.
He's gonna go
Okay.
start his own podcast.
There you go. Sports or
Yeah,
politics?
well, I don't know we'll go that far, but yes.
Shout out Doug.
Okay. Well, thanks, Dad, and
Thank
happy
you.
Father's Day.
All right. Yep.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Ah, that went well.
Yeah.
That went a lot better
that was fun.
than I expected it. So that's good.
I'm glad we got to do that.
Yeah.
All right, so
So-
we'll get.
Yeah. Yeah. So, was there anything you were surprised at in that
How have I never known you did Taekwondo, let alone
Did I never
flatten
tell you
two
that?
kids at school?
Did I never tell you the Taekwondo thing?
I mean, it's like slightly ringing a bell, but we definitely haven't talked about it as much as we should have been talking about it.
Okay. Well, maybe
Because
that's
it's-
next week's episode.
Yeah, we need to
We
hear
did an episode on your
more.
YouTube since we didn't know about that.
Exactly.
Maybe we'll do an episode on my Taekwondo. It's not as interesting. It's just that I went for a long time, but
Well, I'm glad I learned that about you, and I'm
Yeah.
glad you had good self-defense skills
yeah.
that helped you at one point.
Yeah. So we also talked to Steve's dad.
Mm-hmm. Ollie B.
Yeah. So we're gonna get that one now for you guys.
Hey, kiddo.
Hey, happy Father's Day.
It's close to that.
Yes, it is almost there. How are you?
Yep.
Good. How are you guys?
Oh, we're doing pretty good. How about yeah. I
Good.
guess yeah.
Good.
You already said it.
Yeah, do you get some answers for those questions?
I did, of course. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll just get right in then. Let's see. What was the first one? Ah, yes. So, if you had a podcast, what would it be about? If you can answer that.
Sure, I can answer that, and that's something I've already thought about. And if I had a podcast, I think it would be about surviving middle age as a middle class white guy in America. The Gen X generation, my generation. If you notice, as the boomers and millennials have had this volley of war of words in recent years, Gen X always got skipped over, because we just kind of had a lot of angst, and we just kind of lived through a transitional time in society, where we were still told to get up and dust off our wounds and keep moving forward, and there's no crying in baseball, to where a more compassionate approach to rearing children and young adults in America has really evolved, and that's a good thing. But this Gen X generation kind of got caught in the middle, and and what I'm seeing now is like my peers, people in my age group, mid to late 40s, early 50s, just like this whole idea of middle age has just really snuck up on us, and it smacks you in the face. It's like your body's aging, you're becoming an old person, but here we are, we've raised kids, we've raised families, and had careers, starting to think of retirement, and I think my friend Jake, as and I have really figured something out in the last 6 months of how to deal with middle age as a male, particularly, and I say a white guy, because people forget that life isn't always easy for us too, in spite of our white privilege and everything else. And So I really think if I had a podcast, it would be on that topic of, you know, how to survive middle age, you know, in America for the Gen Xers. Um, that could be in the area of physical health, emotional health, financial health, you know, all of those things.
Wow. Okay. That's not what I was expecting, but that's I like that. I like all that.
Yeah.
A lot would go into that, you know, that because it gives you a broad. You're not tying yourself into any box by doing
Well, it's
that.
also like your just almost personal stories, which is
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
like
It's
what
just a
you.
way of saying like, oh, I'm telling stories, but you're giving, you know, you're doing it in a way that might help other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, and what you might have expected is be something centered around music or pop culture, but I think those themes would be very prevalent in dealing with surviving this idea of middle age as a Gen X male in America, because you know I think while the baby boomer generation was really kind of the first generation where pop culture was really became prevalent in their teenage lives and things like that, you know, that really leveled up with the Gen X in the 80s and the 90s, and you know, and having then the internet and the information age come into play to where, you know, just became kind of, you know, just part of our generation of, you know, all these musicians and actors and films and songs and concerts, you know, all have a significant impact on the culture of Gen X. And so I think those themes would remain prevalent, but towards how that contributes to this idea of emotional health and physical health and even financial health, you know, that
Mm-hmm.
okay, now we're all wanting to go see all these rock bands and concerts, but tickets are $200 and $300 just to get in the cheap seats. And you know, when it used to be, you know, we're the generation that used to camp out at Ticketmaster, you know, overnight, and you wait in line and you get front row seats for $35.
Right. Right. A lot of learning could go into that
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
podcast idea. So then
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming if you had to have a co-host, would it be your friend Jake?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, my dad has told me a few times before that sometimes he thinks their phone calls should just be recorded and those should be the episodes.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, you could do that. Yeah. I think that'd be.
yeah,
I'm sure people would. I'm sure there'd be somebody that would love that. Yeah.
I mean, that's basically what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
absolutely. Yep.
So, what what did you think when Steve first told you that she was going to do a podcast, or she
I
wanted
was
to do
really
a podcast?
excited. Yeah, I was really excited about it. You know, I mean, I was pretty new to the podcast world at that time. You know, I kind of was a late adopter of being a podcast listener. You know, like, you know, I kind of started to get into that through work because, you know, the environment I work in, and you know, a lot of you know, next generation, millennial generation, people taking over leadership positions that are more into that space, it got me curious. And so I started dabbling and just listening to podcasts and found it really helpful, you know, whether it be things related to my job or just things of personal interest. You know, I found a podcast a while back, about you know, 2 years or so ago, that you know, is a guy that was, you know, stand-up comedian, converted to podcaster, and his focus was, you know, music and pop culture. And really, you know, he, you know, has a great podcast. I forget the name of it. I'd have to look it up. But, you know, and I was like, oh, I kind of get this now. And so when Stevie said, hey, you know, we're going to do this, I thought, oh, well, that's neat. But, you know, how's that going to go? And, you know, and it kind of, I think when I was on last time, we talked about Stevie's YouTube channel from middle school days,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and, you know, I kind of thought it would be like that. It'd be fun for a while, and it would, you know, okay, that was fun, but, you know, I got 100 followers and now I'm kind of worn out. To where what I've seen is, much more than that. I mean, even from the very first episode, it was like, this sounds like a real podcast. This is really good. And as I've told Stevie, I mean, one of the compelling things to me is when I listen, I always want to be part of the conversation every single time. And that to me is a good sign of a compelling conversation, because like I want to participate in that conversation, even though it's a recorded podcast. I'm like, yeah, I have something to say about that.
Yeah, you like pause it, say your piece, play the podcast again.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, okay. Let's see here. So, we've got next question. Oh, of course. Do you have a favorite Father's Day memory? Being on theme of this being our Father's Day episode.
Sure. That one was more challenging for me, and maybe it's just because my memory isn't great. But kind of thinking back over the years, really there are two things that are Father's Day memories that are really important to me. One of those was my first Father's Day when you were just a baby, but the Bob Dylan poster that was framed with your finger painting on the back of it.
I don't remember.
Which is, yeah, and I still have that. I still have that. It's hanging up in the newly refinished room upstairs. And it still has the back that has your handprints and finger painting artwork on the back. And it was the perfect first Father's Day gift I ever received. I really valued that. But my other one, and you said pick one, but I picked two. Was I don't remember exactly when it was. It might have been like your senior year in high school. But you maybe even was after high school, but a couple years ago, and I think you got me really cool Grateful Dead T-shirt, like a Yeti cup. There was something else.
I think I got you like Sgt. Pepper's vinyl and like a tie.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I was like, hey, Father's Day when your kid has a job with money gets better. And like that was really fun for me, because it was like, oh, this is nice. Like this is one of the first times, I mean, not that I didn't value every little kid gift you got me over the years for Father's Day, birthdays, homemade gifts, whatever. Those are cute and great, and I love those. But like to actually be like, hey, this is a time where you finally had enough money that you could afford to show your appreciation and love in a different way, and like really knew what I wanted and what I liked, and it was very personal, and I really valued that.
Oh, well, good. I had no idea that would have made such an impact.
Yeah. It's usually the little things, so.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm trying to think if I have any particular Father's Day things that I remember. Did I like one year? I feel like when I was younger, we kind of got sent home. It was like, give this to your father for Father's Day, and it was like a gift card to like Central Dairy or something. And like, I don't know. I just have this memory of us like we went like, I don't know. It was like you were somewhere, Dad, and you like came home, and I had this like gift card for you, or a gift certificate or something, and it was like I just remember being so excited about that. But even if you don't, I think I've always enjoyed just being able to like give you gifts.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed you being able to give me gifts.
That's a good point. You probably deserve it after returning the favor after all these years.
Yeah, and I like getting gifts.
Yeah, who doesn't? Well.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Kev?
I think that's all we got.
Yeah, that
was good.
Thanks for coming on with us, man.
Always happy to do it.
Well, you will hear this in a few days. Hope you tune in, Dad. And once again, happy Father's Day.
All right. Well, I will.
All right. Well, have a good rest of your day.
All right, you guys too.
Talk to you later, man.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right.
Well, that was nice.
Yeah, good little calls with dads.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that was very wholesome.
Yeah, and it also gave us a break from talking a little.
Yeah, we could put the pressure off a little.
Okay, so now the big question: did you watch the movie?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Did you actually watch it again, or did you just?
I've seen this movie.
You've seen this movie, so you're just like, okay, I'm not gonna watch it again.
Nope.
Okay. See, I've seen all of them too. Well, no, I've seen a couple of them, but I've still rewatched them.
I did like a little. It had been a while. I did like a little summary on like YouTube. I was like, if there was any main plot points that I forgot about, but there wasn't.
Okay. So what do you? I realize that I've never seen this.
Yeah. So
I've seen clips from it,
I love Singing in the Rain.
but it's really good.
So is it
I
like,
do like musicals.
it's
a
number
lot, so.
3 or 5 on AFI because it's pretty high up. I remember when I was
10 is on the
What?
numbers, but I don't know if that's actually like listed in an
Okay.
order or if that's just the one it is. But
I'll have
it's
to look
number
up.
10 on that list. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. My only qualm with music, and this is I do love musicals, but this is a problem that I have with a lot of musicals because I feel like that a lot of them do it. There's always one scene that is way too long.
Like the song is
One
long.
singing and dancing scene that is way longer than it needs to be. And in this one, it is the scene when he's like explaining what the fantasy scene is going to be.
Okay.
And it's like, it starts out with like him. It seemed like it was half an hour long by itself. And I know it wasn't, but it's just such a long scene. And there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of musicals do that.
Yeah.
But that's my only like thing that I don't really care about.
Sure. And that's fine. That does leave me to believe that maybe you just don't like musicals, but you say you do.
Yeah,
so
no, I like musicals.
you don't
I
like
just
when
don't
it
like-
feels dragged on.
I don't like when anything feels dragged on like that. And I feel like a lot of musicals have, and it's the majority of the musical is wonderful. But there's that one scene that seems like it takes forever.
Do you feel this way about fight scenes in action movies?
Yeah, they do the same
Okay.
thing.
Okay. We're
Yeah,
on the
it's
same
not
page.
it's not just musicals. A lot of movies do it. And the like fight scenes and things do it as well. I don't know if I mean, I can get bored with the fight scenes too, but I usually get less bored with the fight scenes cuz there's a lot of stuff going on. So, it's not just like one or two people on screen just dancing.
I would argue that in musicals, there's a lot of stuff going on too.
Yeah.
They're so colorful. There's lots of details. But okay, sure.
Yeah.
But overall, you like it.
Oh, I thought it was great.
Did you see any of like the when we watched Sunset Boulevard? It made me feel like the premise was kind of similar to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I could very much see the girl in Singin' in the Rain.
The blonde.
Yeah, the
Not the
blonde,
one that gets the
actress.
part, but the one before.
the
the
actress,
one that
the,
was in
like,
silent movies.
Big name actress as
Yeah.
being Norma Desmond,
Norma
like a
Desmond.
younger version
We're
of
all
her.
Norma Desmond.
It seems that's what it very much seemed like.
Yeah, for sure. It's a cute movie though. It's sweet, and I like cute movies like that.
Yeah, it was great. Like I enjoyed it. I enjoy almost all the songs. Like they're all great songs. But again, it's that one thing.
Yeah,
but
that's
overall,
not for you.
It was great, and I would watch it again.
Gotcha.
So
Good. I'm glad you. Thank you for watching that.
well, of course I'm gonna watch them. So,
Right. I am unfamiliar of a world that people. I say, hey, you should watch this, and people actually do. You are probably one of. I don't know. The percentage of people that actually do that is very low. So
I've noticed that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
Since you tell everyone to watch everything and they watch nothing. But
Yeah,
like,
I don't think anybody's ever watched anything
But-
I've ever recommended.
but vice versa. Like I I hardly watch things people recommend to me. It has to be like, I think that's something everyone just is like, well, I'll just watch what I want to watch. You know, if you're going to take the time to like give your attention to something, you just want it to be like your
If
choice.
somebody recommends something that they think I will actually like and it isn't, I will watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody just recommends me like something random, I usually don't have anything to do with it.
Sure.
So it kind of depends on what they recommend.
Got to make a case for it.
Yeah. Like
You have
if
to
you
sell it.
if you recommend something to me, I also trust your judgment. So I'm going to watch something you recommend more likely than somebody else.
And like, I'm not going to say, Kev, you need to watch Vanderpump Rules. Like, I know you would hate that. I know you would claw your eyes out before you had to
I don't
watch
wanna
like
watch
reality TV. So I would never recommend that to
Exactly.
you. So, yeah, we just kind of we know each other's like curation of what they would like.
Yeah. So this week, I think we should watch E.T.
Okay.
How long has it been since you've seen E.T.? It's been a little while since I've seen it. I did go on the ride when I went to Disney, though. It's not at Disney; it's at Universal. But I did go on the ride.
This past recent trip.
Yeah.
What's the ET ride? Is it scary or is it like
No, it's kind of like
space theme or is it?
it's kind of trippy.
Ooh.
It starts with like it starts with the scene on the bicycles, and you're like
Yeah.
on the bicycle, and
Oh, okay.
but the premise is that you have to get ET home because his planet's dying, which is kind of the thing of the movie. But the second half of the ride is you actually go to ET's planet, which is trippy.
Which isn't in like
it's
the
really
movie at
freaking
all.
trippy. No,
Right.
it's not anywhere in the movie, but it's kind of weird.
You never watched Stranger Things, did you?
I watched the first. I think I watched the first 2 seasons.
Okay.
I don't think I've watched the the third or anything farther. I don't believe. It got to the point where I liked the show.
Yeah.
But there was too much time in between when it came out.
There really was.
So I didn't, and
you lose
so
your
I kind of
interest.
lost interest in it because I'm like, okay, well, I'm watching something else now. So I don't. Yeah.
Well, I won't get too into that show. I think the Duffer Brothers have been very open about this, but they reference ET a lot in that show, in a lot of movies, kind of from that like 80s era, 70s even maybe.
Oh yeah, it's very, very.
They like to
80s
reference
heavy,
Goonies, E.T., Alien, and I think so. I would like to watch it now, having watched something like Stranger Things, which a lot of people say like is kind of like it attracted my generation, but it also was appealing to like my dad's generation, maybe even millennials as well, because it was like made you kind of feel nostalgic.
Well,
so I would like to watch E.T. kind of for that reason too, because I haven't seen it probably since I was like 9.
I think it did kind of the same thing for music too, because I remember Master of Puppets by Metallica got really popular all of a sudden.
And
I love Metallica.
And what other
Metallica.
song?
Metallica's awesome.
Quick trivia: what other song got popularized
I don't know.
by Stranger Things
I don't
recently?
remember seeing it. I don't remember. That was the one that I saw that
same
got really
season.
big.
You have no idea.
No idea.
If I said Kate Bush, that means nothing.
Not off the top of my head. If you say the song, I might know it. I probably know the song.
Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush. You don't even know the song.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I remember that being the thing. Yeah.
Yes,
But I
'cause
feel
that
like
was in the
Master
show
maybe.
too. They were in the same season.
Yeah. I don't know.
That was Metallica song. Was a guy played it like shredding on a guitar, like on top of this roof to like attract this.
Yeah, I saw
thing
it.
to him.
I saw a clip of it.
Running Up That Hill was being played as. Oh, thank you. This I actually, for real, skip ahead because this season. Okay, that's enough. That's quite all right. This season is still fairly like, it's only like probably a year old, so I apologize.
But that's the last season, isn't it? That you're talking about?
This last one that came out, and there's going to be one more that they're like making right now. Season 4 is what I'm talking about. And same with the Metallica song.
That was in season 4?
Yeah.
That was in the most recent season?
Yes.
I thought that was 2 seasons ago. It
No.
seems like it's been a long time.
Yeah. Well, no.
Okay.
Because the guy who plays it on the guitar didn't even get introduced until this past season.
Okay.
And then, then the Running Up That Hill was played as like, because this whole thing was like, this monster's trying to get them, and he kind of takes over their consciousness.
Yeah.
But the way to get people out of it is if in like real life you play the song that kind of, it's almost like if you're in a lucid dream, but you hear something in the outside, like in real life, it
Yeah.
kind of takes you out of the dream. So the whole
Okay.
point is like they play these songs and it takes people out. And one of them for the girl was running up that hill. So that song got pretty popular. I was, yeah.
I think now that you
Little
mention it,
tangent.
I think I remember that being one of them. But
I really like that song. But
I guess I was more of a Metallica fan, so that one, I guess, sat a little
sure,
differently with me. But
that makes sense.
yeah, but that was okay. So E.T.
E.T..
We'll see what you think of it now that you're an adult and
Yeah.
can actually. I don't know how much of it you remember. So
I will say, if me and my friends found E.T. when we were like the age of those kids, we never in a million years would we have taken that thing home.
well, I mean, yeah, that makes
Probably
sense.
would have, if we didn't run away, we would have like heard it, which is like feels bad. Makes me feel bad to say.
That you
'cause
would have heard
it's just
E.T.?
a little creature, but like,
Yeah.
what would you think as a little kid? You find this creature, and I don't even know where they find him, but I guess I'll find out soon.
I
You know what I
mean,
mean?
yeah. I mean, I don't know what I would have done.
I feel like if a bunch of boys found it, they would
Yeah,
have like
but
hit
that's-
it with bats or something.
Well, that's possible. I don't know.
The
I don't know. Yeah.
kids in ET were very gracious.
Yeah. I mean, it's a movie, so
That's true.
Okay. Well, I guess that's it for us, and
All right.
we'll talk to you guys next week.
See ya.